but you're reckless. Then you gon' get yours a necklace. Lady,
Gotta hit him.
lady.
I just had no. Couldn't even tell like I had any like hip hop energy today. Nigga, I've been unnecessarily chill. I was like, I'm gonna come in here. I can't say that. I'm still a hip hop. I just be in a mood.
Like if you talking about old rappers, I mean, yeah, the new rappers coming out. Like, I'm sorry, they are horrible.
I think I don't know.
You can't even name one right now.
Like a new one?
Yeah, they come out every day.
I mean, they do. I mean, technically, what I know, I'm gonna take like the low hanging fruit. I know, the baby is new.
Yeah.
Meg is new.
Yeah,
There's good ones.
But
It's just
but like I'm talking about the other guys.
I just don't listen to them. I don't listen like after I get like one lil. That's it. Like it's if it's 47 lils in this motherfucker, I shouldn't say disregard them, but it's just they are interchangeable to me. Like if it's like
they trash
or that, fuck it then. I'm more said, fuck all y'all. You
tip right now. I ain't really messing
uncultured swine, nigga.
They horrible. They're messing up the rap game for everybody.
Oh,
especially yeah, they are.
I would say we got a guess, but it's it's just.
I'm like, what y'all talking about?
Nothing really. We just like we just was talking.
Oh.
We just shooting the shit.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
the queenpin herself is in here, y'all. She in here fucking it up one time with us. How you doing this good?
Born out there.
You finna go north of the wall, nigga.
Yeah,
Like,
it's my cousin party.
woo,
Oh,
good
in
luck.
Lancaster?
Yeah.
Y'all got that. Boy, it would. I would be like, y'all got a thumbs up, man. I'm gonna send somebody a text.
That's like a 2-hour drive.
Lancaster's a bit of a mission.
2-hour drive.
It is. It's like an hour for me.
Like an hour. You dipping?
Yeah.
120.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She said, I'm finna
I'll
hide.
be pushing it, okay?
She said, I'm finna hide the hand in this bitch.
Yeah, I'm doing like 60 and I'm like solid. I don't drive fast no more.
It depends what mood I'm in. I was called a Sunday driver like a couple days ago. But nigga, I be chilling. Like if I don't got nowhere to really be,
I'm not driving.
I got black guy fears. I don't see no cops. I don't nobody fucking with me. I just look. You gonna go around.
I got in a 3-car accident in 1 year. I'm
3-car accidents.
And
in
the last
1
one
year.
I even moved. It was parked. So
Wow.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that story.
On Valentine's Day. Yeah. So no more for me. I'm good. 60, 50, 40, all the good stuff. Take it real slow.
I just got pulled over the other day.
Yeah. You got a ticket?
Y'all out here just living life.
Yeah. It wasn't for speeding though. It's because my windows were too dark in the front.
Oh.
So I was like, oh, okay. They was like, well, I'm going to just give you a warning. You can go. I was like, yeah.
Man, I wish I want like.
Yeah, the guy gonna never get that.
Yeah, man. Like I want it to be like TV. I want the pervy lady cop, man, and she like like you were going pretty fast, and then like I just so happened to be like, I was driving in my drawers today, and she's like, I'll get you off with a warning, like
in my drawers.
Yeah, she'd be like, oh my god, like I'm gonna let you off with a warning this time. It never happens. It's always some big goofy ass white dude with like like the white boy Boosie box fade for them, like how fast you were going. I'm like,
asshole.
I'm like, nigga, I'm going to jail. Nigga, like,
y'all are crazy.
Yeah, I don't like it. She didn't even do like the check-in. Everybody had a good week. No crazy shit happened.
I worked all week, so yeah, I was just working.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, I did like 12 hours every day.
Oh,
yeah, Christmas season, man.
Oh,
yeah, 12 hours, 60 hours, 65 hours, and I work Sundays.
Oh, you said 12 hours every day. I almost threw up my mouth. That's terrible.
Sundays. Oh, I refuse.
I need that money though. I like my money.
Okay,
I fuck
that's
with
fair.
it. Like I fuck with.
Like not all the time. Like after this, I'm going back to regular stuff.
No, like we said before, nigga. The holidays is just, I don't know. Everybody getting high fives because Christmas just showed up, and I don't appreciate like.
I know.
There was no, didn't get a text. There was no alert. Just hey, here, give gifts.
Yeah.
Is y'all giving out gifts?
Oh no.
Oh, okay, you like me? No, I'm not either.
They might get it in like February.
Oh, I'm not even going.
Bro, I've announced to family and friends I'm gift card shouty. I've been like that for like 3 years.
How many gift cards you give out?
Like how?
Just like that, nigga. I sit at the table and I just
Like
throw
a
them.
frisbee, yeah.
Better catch some shits.
Nah, I can't do that. That's too
Nah.
much money spent on family. I love them already. My love is not enough.
I
Like,
gave you my love and
I
affection.
love
Merry
you.
Christmas,
I give you a
nigga.
hug. I'm here. We eat dinner. Blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? All right, catch y'all next year or so. Like, maybe not. Maybe so.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
December's done too much shit. I fucking drove to like America's Gooch down there in fucking Arizona.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
sounds boring.
Arizona's trash. Like I was glad. Like my sister graduated. So like shout out,
America's
you know,
Gooch.
yeah, you know, shout out to her. I'm giving her some props. That was cool. But, nah, bro, I mean, if y'all like Arizona, you know, good for y'all. Who don't,
I haven't been.
It's good.
Arizona,
You can skip
for
it.
real?
Mm.
It's not that
You don't gotta go. I promise you. It's
You probably should go just to go like get just view
Just
it.
to
Like,
go.
yeah, you never been to Arizona for real?
You can go
You've
to-
been to Vegas though, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like Vegas.
but not.
No casino. No casino.
But not.
yeah.
It's like driving to Vegas
Yeah.
all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's just a whole state of
Yeah.
driving to Vegas.
Wow.
Yeah, just dust
Yeah, it's
and
pretty bad out there. It snows out there though, so like,
Okay.
yeah, you probably go.
yeah, it's just got
snowboarding,
like, you know,
skiing.
big desert vibes. That's it.
Well, I didn't know that.
Big desert
great.
energy.
That's crazy. You been to Florida?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you been everywhere. Arizona? Like,
Nigga, who volunteered? Like, what got me to Arizona was an entire event.
Hey, you can't be like a rock star.
You did. Nigga bust through the door. Yeah. I thought it was.
You always late.
I thought it was some shit. I
It's
was
my
like, we,
thing, nigga. It's my
oh,
niche.
yeah, I thought we was gonna go outside and fight.
Whatever.
Like, nigga,
What's up?
bust through.
Fuck, we
the door.
talking. We got flowers and shit. We got ambiance.
Yeah, I don't know whose flowers these are, but it's real.
Y'all
It's
had
real
rock
sexy.
salt
Holiday,
lamps and
like-
shit, right?
Yeah.
That's our Christmas tree. What's that?
Pretty
That's a
much.
poinsettia. That's a poinsettia right there. My grandma had them.
That's it. I mean, nigga, they
What's
talking
going on?
about
What we
shit.
talking about?
I mean, we just shooting
Shooting
shit.
shit.
Niggas just, you know,
Everybody talk about their week. How was y'all? week?
doing the check in.
Yeah.
I'm glad somebody got back to you because I seen you ask when you can pull up, but I was gonna get back to you.
Nigga, it was just like,
Yeah, whenever.
I was like,
I don't know
what?
why everybody. Yeah, just whenever. Saturdays,
Okay.
if y'all not doing nothing, we here.
Yeah, y'all just
Every-
show up, walk
show up,
in.
pull up.
Hello.
Hello. What's going on? Oh, my phone is dead. I had shit on my phone. Let's talk about stuff. Let's talk. Stuff happened this week.
Stuff. Okay.
I'm
good.
interested to get opinions on stuff.
Okay, well, you got the stuff because you clearly saw my week. My week was a wrap.
Let's do it. Let's
Yeah,
talk about stuff.
My week is
Congratulations to Chardon.
that was my
First
week.
off, let's start
that
that.
was-
Let's get some hand claps, nigga.
Oh,
we
no,
got sound.
she
Get
got
some hand
she
claps.
got more hand claps.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my whole week.
Shout out to Chardon, college grad, man. Part of the show. Proud of you.
That video was funny as hell. I've made literally everybody cry. I'm really proud of it. That was my accomplishment for the week.
There
I
it
made
is.
every family member cry.
There it is.
Thank you, Chloe and
beautiful.
Haley, for giving me cry-worthy music.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Is it a charger over there? Can I get some of that charger real quick? Because I got topics in there. But let's talk about stuff. Let's talk about stuff because something interesting happened. I'm not going to say it pleased me, but it was interesting to see because we always talk about, we're really big on this show about the consequences that come with social media.
Oh, this is good.
So I feel like Whack 100 this week
Fun time.
caught the consequences that come with the accountability that comes with social media.
You got beat up.
He didn't. I'm not. Allegedly.
Okay.
Allegedly.
My bad. You got knocked off.
Because I don't want.
No, I'm playing.
I don't want.
Nah,
I don't
they
want
said he
Captain
got knocked
Pyru.
up.
We don't want Captain Pyru on our backs.
I'm a fucking civilian.
He said he's not a game banger. He's a game member now. So.
Okay. I don't know. I understand what that means. I get what he's saying. He don't bang the hood. He just a member. I understand. I guess that. Yeah, I get you. But for those that may or may not know, J.A.D.A, the bodyguard who was Nipsey Hussle's bodyguard and close friend, allegedly knocked out Whack 100 like a week ago or so, within a week's time.
Yeah.
As we've all seen, Whack has been on this campaign of, depending on what your perspective, I guess slandering or speaking ill upon the dead. Either way, no
think
matter
it
what your
started
opinion
out
is, just
as
not
a-
letting this man rest in peace. Like,
Yeah, I
regardless
think
what
it
your opinion
started
is,
out
just
as
not
an
letting.
opinion, but then they just energy kept getting like
I think
teetering on disrespect. Like an opinion is an opinion, but
Yeah,
then
yeah.
it just kept getting like, I could just leave it
think
there.
it's because people keep asking about it, and he's just like,
I think people keep trying to give him a chance to come back from what he's saying.
Yeah,
Like, nigga, that sounded bad the last time you talked about it. Let's give you another chance. And he just keep being like, nah, the nigga just not this or he not that. He's standing on what he's saying. Yeah, he's standing his ground. And niggas is trying to tell him, like, bro, your ground that you standing on is shaky.
And that's the problem. They can't tell him that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, not even on the disrespect part, just what he said. I'm like, I don't know if that's good. If that's good standings, like, what was his whole argument was like, just by the numbers is what makes you a legend.
Yeah,
which is not true, because that just means like we would have to put like Vanilla Ice, Milli Vanilli, anybody with a hit song numbers. If numbers make you a legend,
Lil Nas X a legend already,
bruh. That means every single person
that opens the gate to
has a good ass song that makes you a legend. So I know everybody's criteria would be like subjective, but that ain't it, Chief. Like, you could do a lot of back and forth and variations with who you talking to, but that particular shit, nah.
Yeah,
I think he's a legend. He dropped like a gang of mixtapes and.
I think it's the impact though, bro. Like, I think that's what people fail to realize sometimes is like the impact.
I don't think
it's cats like
until he died though.
I don't think that. But this is my point though. Like, it was literally, and I hate to sound like cliche in this, but like, he was so profound, he was so prolific and so ahead of his time, and I think that's what made Tupac great, is that it was things that Tupac was saying in 1990 whatever that still was applicable in the 2000s, and things that Biggie was saying in 1990 whatever, that in the 2000s people were still going through that same struggle. You know what I'm saying? So that made people be able to relate to him, and that makes certain things, like when people say timeless music, like what Nip's saying is always going to be timeless, and you listen to other people say it, like Nip talked about progression and progress and moving forward. That's something that you always have to do. Without elevation, you bound for extinction. As a people, as a person, as anything, if you don't progress and if you don't evolve, you eventually just going to be obsolete and no good no more. And Nip talked about that. Nip talked about real estate and investments and things such as that. And like, ain't no more land being made, my nigga. So like, that's the best investment you can make. Like, we all using it. Ain't no more of that shit being made. So it's like certain things that bro was talking about that I think were impactful even while he was alive. But I think in understanding that we were never going to get any more of those lessons, it made more people cherish it. Yeah. Do that make sense? Like, we ain't going to never get no more of this. So we got to go back through and pick through this. It's like when somebody died, like the old Fat Joe line where like, niggas, I'm killing them crack. Niggas saying I must have found pun rhyme book. Like, niggas understand this is a relic of this person. This is the last living testament that we have of this person. And I think that's Nipsey's music. And I think that's why people cling to it so hard. And I think because it was something that we realized can guide us for so long if we just treat it how it's supposed to be treated. You know? Yeah,
I would agree with that. And like, I don't know, I feel like you're saying, like on a variety of levels, the nigga was knocking it out the park. Even if we're talking about like he doesn't have, like when he was trying to say doesn't have the numbers, I'm like, if somebody who chose to go independent, who chose to go,
yeah, and for what he did, hell yeah, like,
yeah,
like
I'm gonna
said,
sell my album.
The nigga first album, yeah.
Like,
so albums for thousands of dollars and still like put up numbers. Like, you got a real nigga sold the album for $1,000 and still put up. First one was 100, second one was 1,000.
I'm not buying that. He was good. He was not that good.
But what I'm saying, like, he still offered it for free, but he said if
sold. So
no, but what his whole point was, it still got to offer for free. We got to remember that he still offered it free. He said for anybody who wants to, who can and wants to support.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna support you all right by getting that free shit.
But I mean, that wasn't for that might not have been for you. That might have been for certain people that
who you know what $1,000 is buying out?
Okay, can I just give you can I give you just certain people, you know, they want to contribute large sums of money, but it's no way for you to intake this large sum of money without having a record of it, just a record.
Okay.
So for certain people that may want to give me this much money, you can't just give me that, and I can't just take that in. But what I can do is if I'm selling $1,000 albums and I get $1 million, it's easier to present. Do that make sense?
Yeah. It's very well put.
Are you getting me where I'm going?
I'm listening. I'm just all ears.
Okay, cool. Like if I needed to move money, large sums of money from one thing to another. But I can't do that based on $10 albums. Yeah. So what I do is I say my album costs $1,000. Yeah. So when I move 100,000 units, I actually just made $1 million. Yeah. And now I can you picking up what I'm saying. Okay, cool. Thank you.
And to the point that he wasn't impactful until he was dead, you can say that about everybody.
Yeah. That's a fucking fact. Like, I didn't know who the fuck Lil Peep was until he died. Like, a lot of niggas that died, I didn't know who they were until they died.
But even Tupac, niggas was on Tupac ass when he was alive. Tupac was getting dissed left and right. Everybody didn't just love Tupac.
No.
Until
Like
Tupac
Jay-Z
was
sampled
dead,
Tupac's
and then all
songs
of
and
a
shit.
sudden niggas
Didn't
was
he get
falling
nominated
out,
for a Grammy? Sorry, my bad.
falling out after the fact though.
Yeah.
He was dead already.
Like a lot of people that big Tupac up, a lot of
niggas.
niggas who was telling Tupac stories about how cool they was with Tupac. A lot of niggas be niggas that Tupac had beefs with. Like you understand that, right? Like Tupac was a nigga that didn't like nobody. I'm a bad boy, killer. Jay-Z died too. Looking out for Mobb Deep. I'm coming up behind you. Like Tupac hated everybody, nigga. Like
Tupac was mad.
that was every nigga on the
He
church
was
from the
mad.
East Coast at the time.
He was mad.
Like, so you
that's
gotta-
That's why he happened. That's why he died, because he was just mad all day. He ran himself right into a wall.
I don't think he was mad all day.
He was mad all
definitely
day.
I
mad.
don't-
Okay,
Yeah.
as somebody who
was
He's the most
angry.
quotable
as
human
somebody
being I know.
as okay, so
That
from
nigga ran
just
into
from
his own-
research and shit, it's the influence outside in. Your influence that you have is me, so your influence to do this. But if your influence is somebody that's doing something else, you gonna be influenced to do what they doing. You gotta look at what Suge was doing at the time. That was his influence. What was Suge doing? Starting beefs, beating niggas up, making artists drink piss, and doing all hanging niggas off balconies, whatever the fuck alleged Suge was doing. That it's nothing that can be. You can't grow nothing in that environment but negativity and anger, and that just becomes what you need to survive in that.
Yeah.
And
You gotta
he
remember, Tupac was a thespian, nigga. He was an actor.
Yeah.
He was a poet.
But he was also raised by militants, so he already had a lot of righteous anger. But that's like what we say about niggas in the hood, right? Some of them are angry because of the circumstances we all live in, but you give them nothing but gangbanging. So now they just the craziest niggas in the hood, and seem like they mad and pissed all the time and want to fight everybody.
Man.
But it's something deeper in that.
That's why
I think
these
that was
motherfuckers gotta go meditate or
he
something.
just needed to be steered in a different direction.
I think if you smoke weed, all day long, there's no way you should be angry ever. Because weed is supposed to have you relax, right? Relax your body, relax your mind.
That's how angry you are.
But
It ain't
if you that
healthy.
angry and still smoking weed, motherfucker, you need to stop. Take your ass somewhere else. Like go find
Go where, nigga?
anywhere.
Where's
Go to the desert.
anywhere?
I don't give a
The
fuck.
desert.
They don't
You
have
retarded.
no way to
Desert.
You gotta understand, like, see, that's what I'm saying. You a nigga that's always has some type of means to be able to do some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't never,
Not always.
you ain't never been rich, nigga, but you ain't never,
Nah, yeah, I had it bad. I was homeless for a minute.
bro. And I understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
but it's niggas out here that was just homeless forever. Like, they just really ain't never had nowhere to lay it. You get what I'm saying? Like, I got niggas I got homeboys that I grew up with that just ain't never really had no place to call home. They just like, for 3 weeks I go stay with this homie, 3 weeks I go stay here until your mama
Are they
realize
still
that I've
doing
been
that?
here. Nigga, I got homies that,
They
nigga, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just that
That's crazy.
as much as you trying, it's just the shit is fucking hard. You don't have a leg up. Like,
You don't give up though.
I'm not saying that them niggas gave up, but what I'm saying is that it makes you angry. Like, life circumstances and life situations make you angry, and for
That's been
yours,
your life
yeah, and then.
since you was a kid,
Tell them niggas go eat a
foster
mushroom.
care,
Tell them niggas
and
go eat
this
mushrooms.
family member and that family member.
But see, that's what I'm saying. That ends up creating a dependency that you see for niggas in the hood. We don't have access to that, so that's when you see niggas with the double cup. That's when you see niggas on the perks and the
Hit me up. I'm
Zans.
the plug. Hit me up. I got you.
You a dumbass.
The plug for what?
For what
You a
exactly?
dumbass.
I listen, what I say?
You a
What I
dumbass.
say wrong?
I don't even.
Hey, you lucky I'm not sitting next to you. You lucky you're not at arm's
I didn't say
distance.
nothing wrong. I
The
said
plug.
mushrooms. Like you cook it.
Shut up.
What?
We're
Just
moving,
shut
we're-
up.
We're moving on. We're moving
No
all the
time
way
out.
on.
God
Boy,
damn,
up. I got
Verge.
you. I get you right. I get you right out here.
So Whack 100 got his job.
It's
up.
always some food with
Is
you,
that
man.
what
Mac and
happened?
cheese, mushrooms. This nigga, man. Yeah, Whack 100 allegedly.
Allegedly.
And then he like, this my whole thing too. He goes on after that, like, who said whack this? You said it. The video says you get up saying the nigga just knocked me out. Why y'all ain't? You the nigga that said this shit, bro. We didn't put this on you. The video shows you getting up saying the nigga's name and saying the action that he just did to you. You said J.A.D.A just knocked me out. Where the fuck was y'all at when the nigga dope fiend?
Wow.
So he did
Now
get
you
knocked
got
out.
mad that we said you got. Who said White got knocked out? White said White got knocked out, nigga.
That's how hard he got hit. He
What was
didn't
y'all at when the
remember.
fat bitch jumped off? Nigga jumped up and the
Wow.
and this the Samoan security guards was like, bro, you not finna do. He just, well, where the fuck was y'all at when the nigga knocked me out though? Like,
She jumped in
oh,
my
she jumped in my lap, and then a nigga like 2 hours later is online like, nigga, who said White got knocked out?
He was on Nick Cannon lying then, if that's the case, because
What did
he
he
was
say on
saying
that
a whole
cannon?
different. He was just saying like, oh, they don't have footage of me or nothing. He was saying stuff like that. Like,
Yeah, nobody
He's
has
like,
footage of
nobody-
you getting knocked out, bro. But we have the footage of you saying you
he
got knocked
basically
out.
was saying he didn't. It didn't happen.
But this is my thing. Then why would you say that when you woke up? Like, why did you wake up
Are they
now?
jumping me?
Does he know that video is out?
He gotta know, nigga. Like you chasing milk
That's
around and you doing shit.
wild.
Like why in the fuck you waking up calling out niggas? and
Wait,
shit?
now I got questions for Nick Cannon. So Nick Cannon didn't say, "Well, we seen this video of you whack and you was
Bree,
saying."
did he say it? Did he ask?
He didn't say none of that. No, was it Nick? No, it was Hollywood Unlocked.
Oh,
That's what he was.
yeah.
on.
Okay, I did see that
Yeah.
Hollywood Unlocked.
Damn, he hit that nigga really hard.
Bro,
He
this
didn't
my whole
remember-
thing.
He don't even remember saying
And this my thing, bro.
It's 3 conflicting stories. I ain't never had a nigga hit me that hard.
And it's all coming from the same nigga, the nigga who got
Holy
knocked out.
shit.
I've never had a fight and came back with 3 different stories about the fight.
Bruh.
Okay, look, A, this what happened. A, the nigga did knock me out. I just fell asleep right after the fight. B, like, why do you have 3 different stories of what the fuck happened to you? To me, sound like you got knocked the fuck out. And you having a hard time piecing this shit together.
Nah, nigga, that shit is...
Every day you coming up with a different, you remembering some different shit. You got knocked the fuck out.
It's coming back to him.
Yeah, like it's coming back to you. My nigga, I played a football game and got knocked out in the 3rd quarter. I don't remember none of the first and the second till 2 weeks later. Like, oh yeah, nigga, I did have a touchdown in the 1st quarter, huh? Like that did happen.
J-Rock got CTE punches.
Yeah.
Holy shit, bro.
He turned that nigga to Junior Seau.
That's a scary motherfucker.
White gonna commit suicide of the week.
Jesus.
God damn.
So bad for him, man.
Shit.
He gonna keep talking though. He gonna keep talking.
Yeah, like, and that's my whole thing is that it's one of those type things that it's like, what?
That nigga never gonna stop.
Yeah, he never gonna stop. It's some
Hell
niggas that's
no.
never gonna stop, bro.
I can like you know
Never.
that
Shit's
shit. I'm
coming.
talking
For
shit
some
till I
niggas,
die.
that's just nah. I think it's see, but that's talking shit and being disrespectful is 2 whole different things.
Yep.
Talking shit and being disrespectful is 2 whole different
yeah, of
things,
course.
nigga.
Okay, what are we talking about? We talking about the Nipsey thing? Or we just talking about him getting knocked out now?
And everything. I've never seen Whack be any like teeter no line of like no. Like he's Tupac wasn't a legend. Tupac
yeah,
was
yeah,
a
he
stripper
talked
and
about
all of that.
About him too. I forgot.
He talked about Pac, talk about Nip. Like he has this thing where it's just like dead people
Yeah,
and just
he-
people
I
that
ain't gonna lie,
just.
he's kind of like a hater a little bit.
And so that's my whole
Kinda.
thing is that
Kinda.
just a little bit.
Kinda.
Like,
I'm not
just
trying to.
tag.
I'm not trying to just call him
It's a
like he's
smidgen.
like a little hater.
Yeah,
He's a
like
hater.
to me, I just think your track record of certain shit because, and this is funny because, and I'm gonna use this as a segue. His track record of shit leads me to say that he's not a shit talker. He's just a disrespectful motherfucker, and with that come a lot of consequences. You just a shit talker. It's certain niggas that talk shit. Like Phillip Rivers, the quarterback for the LA Chargers. He talks shit, but he don't curse at all. Like he's a nigga who don't use no curse words. He just talks shit and just plays football and talk shit, but he don't curse. He don't say nothing disrespectful. Players be like, he not disrespectful. He don't say nothing bad about you or nothing. He just
Also,
talks
Phillip-
shit. Like
Phillip will turn around and lose real quick just to, I talked some shit, man. Let me go ahead and lose this game for y'all.
yeah, but it's just like I think it's a fine line where talking shit gets disrespectful, and that's where I think bro stands. And I just think his reputation is not good. Speaking of people whose reputation is not good and who are doing shit, Kim Kardashian, her
Oh,
pictures,
Oh yeah,
her pictures, she had a little tent.
a little tent.
She had a little tent.
She had a tent.
Shit,
Okay,
I ain't
because
gonna
lie.
I got to be updated on this. I just saw Amanda Seals go off, but I didn't really pay
Kim
attention to
took
what.
some pics and Kim looked like, in my opinion, I had somebody hit me up about this because I posted it. Kim looked like young Diana Ross to me.
Yeah,
Like
and that's what she was channeling.
exactly.
Old
And that's
Hollywood.
okay. And this is my whole problem with Kim. It may not be blackface. And
It
we're
is.
going to go around the table and for people, because I know people understand that and relate blackface to the minstrel shows and it has a certain aesthetic. To me, Kim always, not always, in a lot of things, I'm not going to say always, I'm not going to go that far. In a lot of things, she tries to channel the essence of black beauty. Yes.
That's the picture.
She tries to channel like the essence of black beauty and the black aesthetic
Exactly.
in that.
If you have to say that was her.
I didn't even know that was her.
Like, so I don't know. I'm interested. Like, we got black women here too. That's why I wanted, like, that's why I'm happy that Bree and Tiff are here. Is that I want opinions on this. Like, how do it feel? Because I was talking to a white woman about it, and it was just like defending the like.
How do you feel, Bree?
When I saw it, I was like, here she go again. Like, I was just annoyed. Like, I just automatically get annoyed with her, just off rip. So I was just like, okay. But then I was going through the comments. That's why I always head to the comments first. And, I'm just, okay, I'm seeing blackface. I'm seeing all that. I look at the picture again. I'm going to examine it, all that. And I don't know. I just was like, wow, you knew that this was gonna create some type of uproar.
And again, I think that, and this is my whole thing with that. People are like, why would the person who I was talking to was like, why would she want to do that? Why would she want to create this stir about it? I am a firm believer that the Kardashians are people who believe good publicity, bad publicity is all the same shit. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're right though. Yeah. So I just don't really put too much thought into what she's doing anymore. I just was like, okay, something else.
Now, is that a product of they do shit so often and they do shit so habitually that we can no longer afford to invest that energy into that? Is that why you're just now like
yeah, because you already know, like, she pulled off the braid thing, you know, she been trying to be.
But isn't that a bad thing? We're letting people just know, or do you feel like that starts to let people know, like, if you just keep doing it, eventually we'll stop caring? Do you think that sends that message to some white women and some people?
Yeah, if you look at it that way.
Like, if y'all do it long enough, we just gonna stop giving a fuck about it. We gonna get too tired to keep focusing on it.
I mean,
what about you, babe? Come on, give me something. Give me something. Let me see. I didn't even talk to you about it at home because I wanted to get you here to talk about it.
I stopped putting, like Bree said, I stopped putting a lot of stock in the things that the Kardashians do because it starts to feel exhausting for you, like, as the person, like, why am I doing this to myself? Like, y'all don't give a fuck, and everybody is still gonna consume your shit. I think what I stopped doing is I just stopped consuming. I don't buy anything. I ain't seen a Kylie lip kit, a gloss, a Kim Kardashian Skims. I don't want shit y'all selling. I ain't buying a t-shirt. I'm not watching your show. Like, I've just decided to be done with them in that way because I feel like that's how you stop them from being relevant, is you stop making them relevant by consuming the shit that they put out versus you gonna get on Twitter and go on a rant about how disrespectful she is, and then you're tuning in on Sunday night or whenever the fuck their show comes on to watch it. Like, that's counterproductive, and that's, like you said, what they feed off of is like, yeah, talk about us and then watch us and buy our shit. Like,
but do you think I'm sorry, go ahead.
So from that point, I get it, and I felt the same way. But I will say that when I saw that picture, it was the first time, and the Jordan Woods thing too made me say something. That picture was offensive, and it was offensive because there's no way that she didn't see that picture before it went to production, and you saw that picture, you knew it looked like a fucking black woman and not like you fucking look with your pale ass, and you did it anyway. So you're just blatantly fucking disrespectful. You have 2 black daughters, right? Now, she got 2 girls?
Yeah.
North in Chicago.
Yeah, you got 2 black daughters. You're married to a black man. You claim to be an ally to the black community, and you just really don't give a fuck about the things that you do and the way that you, for all intents and purposes, I hate this word, but appropriate. Right. And so for that, I was offended by that picture. And I was offended not just by her, but by everybody that took part in it. So the photographer, the makeup artist that layered that shit on her face and arms and chest and knew what they were fucking doing when they did it. All of that shit is offensive. Like, y'all sat there and orchestrated that shit. And I just think that that's ugly as fuck to still be doing in 2019 because she very well knew that she looked like Diana Ross, a black woman. Like, even her hair, like, that shit just looked.
And that was one thing I had to point out to the white woman. She was like, "Oh, that's just a
bad.
blow dry," and I had to send her a picture of young Diana Ross. I said, I sent her a picture of Diana Ross, and I sent her a picture of Aubrey Hepburn. I said, that's not the same thing, sweetie.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm
just-
saying, right? Like, that's not a classic hairstyle for white women. Like, Breakfast at Tiffany's, in my opinion, that's the classic aesthetic for a white woman of that time that she's emulating. Diana Ross and all that was not.
It was definitely in poor taste, and she definitely darkened her skin to do that. I saw her response was that it was the lighting. Okay, so you mean if it was
the lighting, that's worse because it's lightened you up. That mean you were even darker than what it.
No, she's saying the lighting was bad, so it made her look darker. My point is, if that was the case, again, when the picture got to you, if you're trying to make me believe that it wasn't the fact that you layered this dark ass makeup on yourself, but it was the lighting in the room, you have how much money? You have access to what? And you had bad lighting in a photo shoot in 2019, rich ass, the most photographed woman, Kim Kardashian, you? And when you saw that picture, you didn't think, oh, y'all need to do something about that in the editing situation because it don't look right.
Mm-hmm.
No, you didn't. So at the end of the day, like, you're still responsible for the shit that you put out and the imagery you put out. And that shit is, no. So I don't feel that at all. And that's definitely blackface. I'm calling it blackface. Just because it's not a minstrel show, it's you darkening your skin to emulate black people, and you're not black, so that immediately makes it a mockery. There's no way to do that with love. Like, get out of here.
Let me ask you a question.
No blow dry.
That ain't no fucking.
not at all. Yeah, and
That's
that's
a
what I have
fucking
to.
intentional ass.
Yeah, it was
silk
rollers and
press
shit.
wig,
Yeah.
roller set
Right.
your granny old hair. Like, get
Yeah.
out of here.
Now I have a question for you because you said that you don't like talking about it because it becomes exhausting and they're gonna do it anyway.
Mhm.
Do you feel like it's still a responsibility to do it to deflect some of the influence that they have? Because you understand that I can't control you or I can't reach you with what I say, but I know that there are people that there are white women that are gonna go through the comments of this picture to find out if this is okay or not. Like, there are people that are gonna do that. Like, it's certain topics that I realize that I go through. Like, I've had conversations with white friends and people that be like, nah, I go through the comments on certain things where white people might say nigga or something like that just to see, like, what's the response? Like, what's the overwhelming fucking response? The same way you see people on the shade room, like, I'm just here for the comments because they just want to know what people saying.
Yeah.
White people go through certain shit that they know might infuriate black people or black people are going to have an opinion about to get insight from black people.
Mm-hmm. So,
Do you feel like it's a responsibility to still say something because you still know that might deflect some of the influence that they have? As far as I have to walk down the street, I may not be able to stop Kim Kardashian, but I could stop a bitch. I could stop the bitches I got to go to work with and walk down the street with this shit.
that's a valid point, and I think that's to what Amanda Seales was saying in her video was basically like that. Like, she was saying that she knows she's doing this despite the fact that she knows that, like, they continue to do this shit because people continue to praise them for it and make excuses for it and say that it's okay, and you still gonna go buy your Skims and your lip gloss and big them up. And that's why they don't see a problem in what they do. So from that point, I do think it's important for people who see that it's not okay and see that she's problematic and see the bullshit that she's doing to say something. But I also think there's something to be said about ignoring them if you're ignoring them and then also not consuming. Like, if you're one of those people who just like, I'm neutral, I don't care about the Kardashians one way or another, but like, she posts a dress and you under the picture like, I need that, and you go buy the dress, or you go, you know what I mean? Like, you're doing the worst because you're still supporting it with your money. Like, that's worse. So I think if you're going to speak on it, if you're going to have a problem with it, then it needs to be reflective in the way that you move in life. Like, don't have a problem with them and be speaking up and still watching a show and consuming all this shit. Like, I think that's stupid. And I think a lot of people do that. Like, a lot of people be like, Kim do think she black, Kim do try to copy black women, but you're on all her shit.
I think I take that approach. That's why I haven't had much to talk about with this, because I'm of the mindset
Well, I just wanted to get their opinion first, because I always feel like people pirate the essence of black women so much and in so many things, and I feel like for me, I don't keep tally of shit, but I have a hard time. Like, I don't forget certain shit. So like, I remember like Bree said the braids, and then I remember like just the idea of like what you've done to your body and what most black women go through just going to work in an everyday setting and scenario with hips smaller than yours. Like, what they have to go through in that for you can be the picture of beauty, the Vogue and all of this stuff with the same things that our women get labeled ghetto and everything else with. That to me is one of those things that I just wanted to kind of get black women the platform to be able to express and just kind of hear what they have to say. That's why even I asked, like, do you feel like there is some responsibility and duty to not create this air that if you do this enough habitually, we'll ignore it, or that, there is still some responsibility? Because I don't want to, like, last week we talked about people that try to speak up for other people and defend other people, and it's like, who the fuck asked you to do that, or whose opinion are you even backing with that? And that's why for me, I just felt like for us it was kind of important just to hear black women talk about it, because it was like whatever I could say is not what,
glad that they because I disregard the Kardashians as a whole, so I
wouldn't have brought that up if they weren't here.
Yeah, because I take like when she talked about like if you don't consume their shit, I'm that person. Like, I don't listen to them, I don't watch this shit.
It's nothing for me to buy from the Kardashians, but I mean, even like I just get, as a pedestrian, you just kind of get offended because it's things that I find myself caring about. Like when they did the Tupac and Biggie shirts, and they felt it was cool to put their faces, Kylie and Kyrie, whatever. What's the other bitch name? Kylie and Kendall. Kyrie. But Yeah, like that shit is just like it's not offensive. I mean, like it's just triggering. It's like damn, like that's just what the fuck. Yeah, that's offensive. I guess just to say it like that shit is offensive as fuck.
Yeah.
And it's like habitually like the Bo Derek braids, like your bodies, the skin, everything that the fuck you do. The cooking, the food, soul food, just what you do to macaroni and cheese, bitch. That alone, what this bitch has done to pans and macaroni and cheese for numerous holidays. This bitch deserves to be hung in the middle of Times Square for that shit, man. I don't give a fuck how many black people. That's why she keep getting black grannies out of jail. This bitch needs somebody to cook at her house. This whole, it's been fucking up pots of collard greens for. Oh my god, like what the fuck?
No, but I have a point. I have
if that's what you want to call what they do to them, cooking.
She likes
I've never
to make
seen
soul
that.
food.
I'm really happy about it.
And she claims that her mama taught her. I don't know. I'm gonna leave
Her
that.
mama?
That's what she
The
said. girl.
Kardashians
And
out
then
here
this bitch
making
say-
soul food.
She learned how to
Right.
cook from Chris, and she
What
be
the
making
fuck?
cornbread and frying. Kanye loves my fried chicken.
She learns how to cook from Chris, and Chris learned how to cook from
No,
OJ.
they are though.
But what I'm saying is this: OJ used to be after they would fuck. OJ would send Chris to the kitchen to cook for him. That's why that bitch thinks she can cook for black
Hello
people.
to the world.
But this,
You know, OJ didn't want no plate of greens. He came and slapped the shit out. Don't feed me this Negro food.
but
Make me a baklava, bitch.
a baklava, bitch.
He not into it.
Oh,
But,
all right, folks.
but I had a
All
point.
right, well,
I have a point that you
I'm
was
ahead
making
of
before
Baklava,
about like
bitch.
regular white women
That's a
doing
great
shit
one.
or regular women that are not black doing shit. And to me, that's the larger issue. Is that
What?
they've made it cool for other women that
That's
are
what I'm
not
saying.
black to emulate black women, but niggas don't really have a problem with that. Like that's popular.
No,
Like,
I think
to be a Mexican or whatever Latinx person with a fat ass and you got braids and you wear bamboo earrings and you
I think that's a beauty standard
have
that's just
the
set though.
aesthetic
Like it's okay.
of
So
a black woman. That's okay.
I'm not gonna defend that. What I'm gonna say is this: there's certain things. Okay, so I'll go like, I'll keep it in the spectrum of black women, and I'll just use like, I look at that as like appeal. To me, I look at that like sex appeal. Like if I just see Lizzo on a day that is just like she just on a day, then I'll be like, that's just Lizzo. But if I see Lizzo when she do the lingerie thing, I might give a second look just because like I like lingerie and I like sex appeal. It don't necessarily mean I like you, bitch. Like I don't necessarily like you, bitch. Let's get this shit straight. I don't necessarily like you, bitch. I just like what women in lingerie look like.
Right.
So sometimes you see somebody and you just be like, look, I don't like you, bitch. I just like braids. I like bamboo earrings and I like nice asses. The day that bitch put a ponytail and some studs in her ear, it's a wrap, bitch. You look nothing like what I like no more. Sometimes a bitch you just catch, you like, oh, bitch got the braids. I like braids. Sometimes that's just what that is. And sometimes niggas don't know the difference between I just like braids and no, I don't. Sometimes people don't even understand that. You see a nigga with a bitch with some braids and you start thinking, oh, he like Mexican bitches that look like. No, I just like braids, bitch. This bitch got braids this week. So after this, I'm never going to talk to her again, probably.
But like that's my point though, is that
This bitch don't keep braiding her hair. She going to lose the edges in 9 months trying to do this shit. So it's not going to last long.
I don't know
oh,
about
but
that.
that's
I know that's not for me. If I see whatever list of women that you just listed that aren't black women doing like black women shit, that kind of
What
like
about Puerto
bothers
Rican?
me.
and sometimes it's not always
But
like
for everybody, the appeal is different, though, TJ. Like I said, for me, it's sex appeal. It's not braids and shit. It's sex appeal. Like, that's why I say people like Rihanna. Rihanna not the most beautiful woman in the world, but Rihanna just has sexy. And that's what people like. People like sex appeal. Nigga just looked at Rihanna. If Rihanna just put a turtleneck and and just looked at her, niggas would be like, it's different. It hit different.
I fuck with sex appeal and sex appeal.
But that's show appeal. You get what I'm saying? Like,
no. Like I like sex. Like I feel you on enjoying like a woman's sex appeal, but sometimes it's like the dance between are you like sex appeal and like you said, everybody's favorite buzzword. You're appropriating shit. Like you know that I find braids sexy because
and that's my point.
You're taking sex appeal. Like I like black women, and
but again, that's the same thing where I'm saying with a woman like Lizzo. You put on I don't like that. I don't like you, but you put on something that I like, and that blurs a line sometimes.
But sometimes I think what it is that
That's like ugly niggas with six packs. Bitches be like, this nigga face is terrible, bitch, but I like six packs. It's like shit. Like you get what I'm saying? It's like when women go to strip clubs and shit, they be like, the aesthetic of a male stripper looks nice, but once he start doing male stripper shit, I don't like it no more.
But it's different in
It's
this
just like
way.
you like aesthetic of something, but everything that come with it, you don't fuck with that.
But the aesthetic of whatever, okay, I don't know how to say it. What I'm trying to say is that if we have an issue with Kim Kardashian's aesthetic being that is very close, right, to black women, they do things that are very close to what we know has been the way black women move throughout life and dress and all of that, okay? If I have an issue with Kim Kardashian, a rich motherfucker I ain't gonna never have access to, see, deal with, why I got an issue with her doing it, but when the white bitch that I work with that got a black baby daddy do it, it's just a vibe. Like, she just like braids. Like, I you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying.
I'm not defending the point. I'm just asking a question. Like, I'm not here to like defend the point or end the conversation with it, because I go home to a black woman every night. Like, that's just, so I'm not here. Yeah, so I'm not here to defend or champion that shit at all. These are just questions that I'm asking.
No, but I'm saying that's the
I
argument
think these are things that some niggas don't. I think some men don't know how to explain that, or don't know how to defend that, or just automatically get that shame and just wear it. And if what your thing is, my niggas, is that you just like this, then that's cool. Yeah, that's fine. But understand what. Let me finish. Understand where that puts you, though. I'm for everybody knowing how to defend themselves. Even after you defend yourself, know where that puts you. Even when a nigga go to court, after you shoot somebody, you still get to go plead your case about why you shot the nigga. Even if you shot, like, no matter what crime you do, you still get to plead your case, and you still get to be heard out about why. I want you niggas to be able to firmly explain why you doing what you doing, because I think that provides insight to people. No matter if that insight puts me in a place where I put you over here with somebody I can't fuck with, or I do fuck with. It's just like we say on the show all the time. We like our races to be overt. Tell me you racist. Like, so I can know where to place you, and I don't have to be surprised by what you are, what you do. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like that the same way about, like, the homies and their intentions and certain things, and who you date and how you respond to certain things. Like, let me know where you stand with certain shit, bro, so I can know how to hold your opinion and shit. You get what I'm saying?
I do. I don't feel like.
So if you a nigga that's just like,
do that though.
But that's what I'm saying though. That's why I'm asking, and that's why I talk to certain people like, bro, what you like about this, or what you like about that, and that's what I'm saying is when I come back and ask certain women, you breed people who opinions I trust, I'm asking with the insight of a nigga who.
What have they said? Have they given you that example that you gave that they?
Yeah, no, that's
braids?
literally things where niggas. I've talked to niggas.
So
and
why they just won't date a black woman with braids? Like, I don't get it then.
Right.
Yeah, you don't know. It's like it is what it is.
All right.
You know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, and I'm not saying that they are against dating black women that got braids. They're just saying that the one thing that just. First off, let me just say it's not niggas that date with monogamy anyway. Like, they're not dating monogamously with these. They're not just strictly dating these braided up Mexican bitches. That's not what they're doing. But I understand that they have a
Type?
not even a type. Like, you just
like,
oh yeah, I guess a type, like a niche thing that you like. I'm not gonna say a type because I don't know if like women with braids is a type.
I mean, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying like
the mixed or ambiguous or other race woman who dresses and does her hair and looks like a black woman is I think has become a type now. That's a type.
Okay.
Yeah.
I personally love all females. So I really don't care.
No, but I think that's weird too though. Like, I think there's a fine line where there is room for aesthetic, especially when you start doing like natural hair and how like black women hair can vary so much. Like, a chick who got a small ass afro today can have individuals and braids tomorrow.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
been our thing though, right? Like, we've always been a
I
black
think,
woman change her hair. She.
But I think it's
other
changed.
week.
I think it's a change from like longer hair dudes. I think now like the short to long like trend, like change, that drastic change is more normal now than what it was in the past. Like, it was very rare that, in my experience, a woman who had short hair back in the day just had short hair. She didn't have like a little
Is this
like
for women or black women?
black women, nigga.
Oh, because I'm like the whole black women changing hair thing. I always thought that's like been like a thing.
I said that, but what I said was it didn't. The range in which I remember identifying black, like literally, you will see like, shout out to Destiny that was here on Never Night Extra. You'll see somebody who would like Destiny have a short haircut today, and then next week she'll have like braids down to her butt. I can't remember growing up in the past, the 90s, even the early 2000s, people having changes that were that drastic. I remember my grandmother, my aunts, and my mama having 9, 10 different wigs and 7 drawstring ponytails and whatever the fuck else they was wearing at the time. I remember all that shit. I do. clip-ons
So
and
it's like
everything.
the natural style thing is more of a.
But I'm saying now, I think there's a
But
bigger.
they stayed in the same.
It was a
realm.
like it was the same realm. I just think
I
the
see that.
variance of how you can do black hair now is different. And I think I've even seen women who have the natural hair that's like, when I braid my hair, niggas like me more than when I just wear my hair natural.
Yeah.
I think that's a thing too. And I think that just goes back to certain niggas just like certain hairstyles and certain things on people.
You getting into something with that though, babe?
I'm it's and I'm gonna be honest with you. I think we give people too much credit sometimes. I think there's people that are just that shallow that is really like she got a fat ass. She got this. She dressed nice. She got nice shoes. He got nice this. He got nice hair. The same way it's bitches that are see a nigga take his wave cap off and be like, literally, we see memes all the time of niggas from the chest up just smiling and somebody being like, that nigga is 90s movies kind of fine, bitch. And I literally seen a meme the other day where a nigga had a haircut and gold teeth and a bitch said, this picture just asked me, can he borrow my car? And I just said, yeah. Like, we're not going to sit here and act like it's not an aesthetic that women will just fall flat for too. Fuck that. Don't do that.
I'm not saying that. That wasn't my point. I was
It's
saying
niggas that we just looked at Tom Hanks the other day. You bitches never looked at Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks got a beard now. Every black woman to fuck this nigga. Like every Creole grandpa in West LA. Fuck that. You're not gonna play. No, don't do that.
That's not what I was saying. What I said you was getting.
But that's
into
what I'm saying.
I get it. I was saying.
What are we saying?
What you get into?
What I'm saying is how niche aesthetics can take someone from being someone that you have no eye for to making you attracted to them, and it can literally just be niche aesthetic. It can literally just be braids, beard, like it can literally be that shit, and you can go from being undesirable to I will
wouldn't
fuck
look
her.
At you, but now because you have a beard, I like you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and I seen somebody the other day that posted like the Tom Hanks thing, and they was like, Tom Hanks got a beard now, and he looked like a
That
Creole
beard do
grandpa.
something. It do something.
What the fuck? That's so yeah.
So I get
and so
that.
then braids do something sometimes. Like
Right, but when you said it's black women that tell you that with an afro niggas ain't checking for them, and then when they have they long individuals and niggas is checking for them. I said you touching on something with that because I always, and I don't know the answer, but I always ask the question: when do we go between there's some anti-black self-hate shit going on and preference? Same with color, right? When is it that you just have a preference for maybe lighter skinned women, or you have a preference for dark skinned men, to you got some colorism shit going on that you ain't unpacked yet, and that's why every girlfriend you got look the same. You might fucked with a dark skinned chick or two along the way, but everybody that you claim is your girlfriend looks a certain way. When does preference in something else? I don't know where the line is for that.
Well, I mean, I feel like, to me, like, women are usually the biggest judges of things culturally. Like, it's usually the guidelines that women set that are enforced within cultures. And I'm not saying that's okay, but I'm just saying that that's what it seems to be. So I'm asking y'all, like, what is the fine line? Like, where do you teeter where you'll let a nigga, or it's in your head, it's like, oh, no, go on, Bree.
Like, I gotta go, y'all.
Do your thing, boo. We appreciate Bree for pulling up.
Bye,
You can say bye on the mic, nigga. You ain't
Yeah,
gotta
she's
sneak
like-
out.
I was like,
Everybody
oh,
It's
my
not church. She got her finger out.
Everybody always do that church,
Bree
that
like,
church
bye.
finger
Bye,
shit.
y'all. Okay.
Bye.
All right, you welcome. Open invite whenever, all right?
Yes.
Go ahead. Is this your jacket?
Yep.
Do your thing.
All
All right.
like somebody, mama.
Ain't gonna forget my jacket.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like that's my thing is that I find that like for black men we don't get the preference card. If something is even teeters a line of nope, anti-black. Nigga don't like black women.
No, that's not true. It just depends on who you're talking to, because light skinned women ride that car for y'all hard. My man is not colorist just because he's like me. I'm a black woman just like you are, and da 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 da.
I don't know,
So
I've
it just
always-
depends on who I
coming
think you're
from.
talking to.
But I ain't gonna lie. Like I said,
I don't have a horse in the race, quite frankly. I don't.
short,
Which is probably
bald,
not a popular
ugly.
opinion for a dark
I mean,
skinned
you
woman
have
to
a-
have.
I mean, you have a voice, and I think as a woman, I think you have an impression. You have little cousins and young men that you raise. You have a son. You have people who opinion you do impact with your beliefs on this topic. So yes, you do have a horse in the race. Yes,
What I mean,
he got a couple fucking horses. You got a
what
stable.
What I mean is that it's only DJ. Why are you looking like that?
I'm just listening because I've always thought. I mean, I'm waiting for everybody's opinion because I've always thought that shit was corny.
What?
But that's my upbringing,
What-
like to
what's corny?
judge by
Your
like
hair
you-
and stuff like
hair,
that?
skin, all
Yeah,
that shit.
all
That's how I
natural.
was.
I like
But
all
that's how I
natural.
was.
We're not
brought
speaking,
up.
and I understand.
Yeah,
we're
like,
not
I
speaking.
be-
We're not speaking for us and those that are brought up like that. That's not
Yeah,
what I'm
like
talking
I've
to.
always thought that.
So
shit
I
was
get you.
whack.
I'm not preaching.
Yeah.
I'm not here
So,
to
like, I'm
preach to the
trying to hear
converted.
everybody. 'cause-
No, and I get you, and that's fine. If
Yeah.
that's your opinion, and you could sit this one out. But for me,
Yeah.
I have a little bit more of an opinion on it, and it's not because that is me. It's just that again, I just don't. Yeah, it's just like we need to, like that's the thing that is in our community. That's the thing that affects us as people. You still have a nephew, and I don't want. If we see that, I don't want that to be combated with. That's just stupid, nigga. You stupid for believing that.
I mean,
I would hope that you would have more to say to your nephew about that if you've seen that. I would hope that like
stupid.
your son or somebody
I would definitely take
you
the
would
line
have
of
more
thinking that Tiff touched on. Like there are elements of colorism and things of that nature to say that your natural features are not innately beautiful. Like me personally, I'm like, I really don't care what you have. My rule is, make it, do your fucking hair. But if you want to be natural, braid it up, I personally don't care because, like I've just grown up and seen black women go through like hair transitions. I want to do this one day and next week it'll be some whole other shit. And I just have never understood, like, I understand its history, but I've never physically looked at like a dark skin woman and go, she's not attractive, or this light skin woman.
I'm not saying, but that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the fact.
Oh
shit, we just
my
get guessing this bitch Will.
Big Will in this mother.
Big Will, my brother, pull
Will
up, take a
kicked
seat.
it.
I'm glad Will
Will
pulled up
kicked in the
because
door.
Will is a black man who
God damn, bro.
who is deep into therapy, and he has an opinion, and maybe he can give us some insight on is this a psychological. This is my little cousin Verge, third member of the show.
Getting claps,
This
boy.
is my lady Tiff right here, man, loving my life. This is Will. Let's give Will a round of applause for him. Maybe you can give us a therapeutic insight on this topic. Will you listen while you
theme music and shit?
Okay, cool. Yeah, take a seat, please.
Yeah, man.
So I'm not speaking so much to that, but I'm speaking to your lady change her hair, and it's a certain hairstyle you like more than you like another. You like Holly and Boomerang more than you like Holly and Swordfish, and maybe that's just because Holly and Boomerang is an aesthetic that you just like.
Right, but I don't think that's what we're talking. Like, I mean, I think we get that.
Yeah,
everybody understands that it's okay.
But what
to
I'm
have
saying,
a preference. I'm saying the question.
But what I'm saying is when your preference spill over to other cultures.
Like what?
That's what I'm saying. Like if you just a nigga that
like me liking braids. I don't know. I associate
you like
certain
braids,
things
and it
with
just so
black
happened you
women,
see a
so.
Mexican chick who got braids, and you just like, oh shit.
Yeah,
like,
but see,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
what
that
I
don't
was
rock it
saying
for me.
before. Like it's not. That's one thing. It's one thing to just. That's why it's hard to talk about stuff like in a vacuum. It's one thing to
open the vacuum. It's our show.
just like.
Open it.
It's one thing to just like braids, and that's your jam. And so it's a lot of women that if they throw in some braids, it's gonna make your dick jump, and that's your thing. That's fine. But I said when you start to see a pattern for yourself, like with my brother, I used to be like, listen, I'm not saying that nothing is going on. I'm just saying if I roll out the scroll of women that you've dealt with in your life, I know that you find dark-skinned women or brown-skinned women sexually attractive because I know there are dark-skinned and brown-skinned women that you've been sexual with and you thought were sexy and you had that experience. But what I'm noticing is that the woman that you deem worthy, in quotations, enough to call your girlfriend, to want to be with, to make babies with, all look a certain way. And I'm asking you to ask yourself if that means anything. I'm not telling you it means anything.
Psychologically, like
I'm asking you to tell yourself.
Psychologically, one of the reasons why we, I guess, go within a certain box because men are looking for women who are similar to their mother in some type of capacity. May not be looks, but okay, you have the sternness of my mother, or you don't take my shit like my mother doesn't take my shit. Women do the same thing when it comes to their pops. If they have an ain't shit pops, unconsciously they're gonna run into a bunch of ain't shit niggas because that's what they used to, right? So I'm trying to figure out: are we talking about fetishes? Cause
no, it started with the Kim. It started with the Kim Kardashian
more
thing.
More of a colorism thing in the black community. Why? When do you decide between something being a preference and you doing something because you have some anti-blackness or colorism, self-hate stuff going on? When is it that I just prefer light skin or dark skin?
But also, what happens if you have a preference? What happens if that preference spills to outside of our culture? So let's say you like a certain aesthetic that black women have. So we talked about bamboo earrings and braids and all that. When you put that whole aesthetic, the natural aesthetic that most black women might choose, just God damn, that was loud.
Yo.
What up, TJ? What up, E? What up, Tiff?
Sean.
Faithful.
Yes, sir.
Yo, I love you. I'm sorry. Yesterday we was in a barbershop when you called me. I meant to call you back
I don't
today.
care. I ain't talking to you.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
just wanted to be respectful and say what's up, bro.
Look, that was on me. I was in a barbershop yesterday dealing with Lil Eric, so I was trying to call you back.
Nah,
but
good.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry about
Yeah,
that. My
nah,
brother, what's the deal?
but back to this old topic, this preference thing. I guess you can't say you can't say we want someone that looks like our mother or resembles our mother in their actions and their factors when you got all these people that are interracial relationships.
You can be in
Because
interracial. You
then
can be in a interracial
you can't be
relationship.
you can't be in an interracial relationship when you're trying to resemble someone that's your mother, because we see our mothers as a strong black queen. If you're dating a white woman, is she your strong black queen?
Not necessarily, because what if you're dating? What if we're looking at my mother as I'm trying to find someone who, like I said, don't take my shit like my mother doesn't take my shit. They could be anybody. It could be black, white, yellow, orange, whatever the case may be. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to resemble the physical trait, but it also could resemble certain.
But what if they're putting on a facade of not taking your shit but tolerating your shit, and you can't decipher the difference?
And then once we figure out the difference, we're gonna break up with their ass.
But I think we're talking now. I feel like we're talking about something else, because we were purely talking about people who have a preference for a physical. So we're not even diving
into a physical attribute.
And I
right.
get that.
So like you a black man. I don't know you, Will. I'm just saying. If I've come to know you for the last 6 years and you've had 6 women and all your women have been other race. You had 2 Asian girlfriends, 2 white girlfriends, a Latino girlfriend. And I go, damn, do Will date black women? Now, it could just be that these are just women that you've happened to
like
and
jambalaya,
connected
man.
with.
You like jambalaya. You like spicing things up.
It could have just been that. Or it could be that Will has some issues going on where he's not.
It could be both. Like, it's not one size fits all. Like, I could have some issues and I could be anti-black women, or I could just grew up in a suburb community and I wasn't around black women so much. So, like, I lost my virginity to a white woman. So now I'm just used to fucking white bitches.
And now you got an issue, though.
It is what it is, you know. But I get what you said.
Okay.
I get what you said.
Is that an issue when we look at stuff like that? Like, because I think that could be an influencer sometimes. Sometimes that's just who you know how to vibe with, and that's just who you vibe best with. And I think that's what we always talk about. Like, it's not my energy is just best because of the type of comedy that people from this type of culture might like, and these are the people from this culture that I grew up with, the type of music that I might necessarily like. Like, is that a thing that is cool, that you more times than not mesh with white people because you just grew up with white people in terms of just socially you just end up on the same spot? Like, you like weird ass white humor and things that we classify as that?
Okay, but here's my question, because I don't know not one black person that grew up in a situation that didn't know not one other black person. So there was a black girl somewhere that you happened upon that went to this white school with you and liked the same music as you and liked the same comedy, but you was digging her white friend, not her. Why?
Maybe she just literally she just wasn't the one black aesthetic that I like. Like, just because you're the one token black girl and I'm the token black guy, don't mean I don't have to not like your fucking face. Bitch.
That was if you being super literal to just me. When my point was that I don't believe that you've gone through your life having never interacted with other black people that come from the same background as you. And so if you've come across other black women that come from the same background as you and you ain't been able to find one that you thought was attractive or worthy of dating, I don't know. I just find that curious.
But that's weird, though, because that's like, I'm from Watts and I done came across mad niggas from Watts and I just ain't found one that I like yet. No, I just sometimes that's just
not the same.
Yo, J.A.D.A. Mysterious Jack's in the building, ladies' night.
Oh, we got this motherfucker just rolling in here today,
right?
Goddamn, like.
But it depends.
All right, I'm gonna free up the lines and finish listening. I'll holler at y'all.
I appreciate you, Sean.
But a lot of it depends on, like, say if you, because I went to a HBCU, I went to a black college, so I came across, but
everybody
here,
everybody.
Cool. Shout out to Clark. I don't know about y'all, but shout out to Clark.
Scrambling up in here, brother.
So I came across some black people who have literally, like, grown up in those white spaces, who only came to a black school because I need to be around black folks.
Sure.
But they've always told me the black people that they came across looked at them as like, oh, you're Oreo, or you too white, you look too, you talk a certain type of way. So I can understand why that black person would kind of naturally just kind of cling to the white person because of their negative experience with that black person.
Right, which is why I specified a black woman, a black person, black people that have grown up in your same space. So we're talking about other people that have grown up being called Oreos and you talk white. These people share your experience, but none of them have been attractive to you, only the white people around them. I just think that that's curious. That's all I'm saying.
I would kind of like agree with you if we're all from the same environment. I just feel like you might, like in the scenario you talked about, like you'll have sex with dark skinned black women, but you will never bring one like to have on your arm.
Yeah.
I feel like there is like something to be said that something about them you devalue. Like you don't look at them as something, you know. Yeah. If y'all from the same environment, there's no real reason unless you know you have to like you'd have to do a deep cut as to why don't you find this person. If I can fuck you, what is it about you that's, especially if she's like a cool person, if you say, okay, you know, Keisha just as funny as Ashley, like what's the difference?
Yeah.
And if you can boil it just down to color, then you might have a point. She funny, she cooks, she this, y'all vibe, I've seen y'all interact, but you're just choosing not to deal with her, and the only fucking differential is your color.
Yes,
then
somebody put that nasty taste in your mouth, and at the end of the day, it's just because you hurt, which is why you're not trying to fuck with the black woman.
And
at
baby,
the end of the day,
you and we've talked about this before. Where I tell you, I in recent years started to hear a lot from black men and women that are not black who date one another in interracial situations talk about mixed babies like they're new shoes, like the hottest thing out. Like it's because I'm fucking with this Asian chick, man. I'm gonna fuck around and get her pregnant because I want a little Blasian.
So let me ask you a question.
Little girl, like shit. This is shit that I've actually heard.
Shit.
So I'm just saying, I don't know.
Let me ask you a question. You want to respond to it before I ask the question?
No, I was gonna go back to what TJ said. For me personally, I was just a nigga that I didn't take very many people around people anyway. I just didn't mix those things. So I was just trying to mentally go through my track record of like what women have I dated that like I brought around people and didn't bring around people, and why did I or didn't I do that?
It doesn't necessarily have to be bring around people. It's whatever for you constitutes that this person means something. You know, if every bitch don't get to wear my sunglasses.
I think relationship dictated that. Like I think relationship. So for me, like I've dated like for Babe, for instance, she likes to go out, but she's not somebody that requires to go out. Like she's a homebody for the most part. I've dated women that like, so for me, for some women being at home all the time and like for what we would call a good night at home and a cracking night, to them that's just like, why you don't want to take me out? That's just the difference in. All right, Jax. Bye, guys. It's just that like it's just that it's just a difference in what the dynamic of the relationship is, what we do well and what we like to do with each other. I've dated women who we've met in the club, and then after that we never went out again. We just always kicked it at the house because that's just, we vibe with each other so hard that's just what we enjoy doing.
I mean, that's cool.
So
just whatever
so it's never been dictated by a color or something like that. And I think people try to boil it down to that, but sometimes it just end up being dynamics. The dynamic of these people prefer to stay in, these people prefer to go out.
I'm not talking about however you run it. Whatever you decide in your relationship constitutes that this is important. We stay in, we go out, we eat out, whatever the fuck we do.
But what I'm saying is that varies by woman, though.
Yeah.
That's not what I mean. What I'm saying is, for you, the constant is, these are things that I do that determine that this person next to me is now my partner. It's not some bitch I'm fucking with, it's whatever. And if the person you're doing that with consistently has a certain color, then it's starting to go like, okay, you only do this, whatever constitutes as a relationship partner, you're only doing these things with a person of a certain color.
We're not talking about from the outside.
And what I am saying is, as a man, for me, my duty and we talked about this last week on the show, I'm just somebody that's just like, make sure your partner's happy. Mm-hmm. So I don't have no thing that I need to specifically be doing in terms of being with my partner that like I have to go out to dinner or why you don't take me out. I'm not one of those type of people. I just want to make you happy. So inevitably it always ends up being ball in the woman's court for the most part. Occasionally I may need to go out and have a night in certain things. So that puts me in a position oftentimes where I don't really have anything that I dictate as a standard for what I am doing to constitute I'm dating you and what I'm not doing to constitute that I'm dating you.
Right.
I have a standard. I don't make exceptions. My standard across the board is, if I'm fucking with you, I'm fucking with you to a certain standard. Not that I fuck with these people a certain type of way and I fuck with these a certain, no, standard over exception. So that's what I'm saying, is that there are men that exists for, is that no matter what you are, you have to come up to me. I'm not going to go down to you.
I get it.
Right. I'm not talking about
so
what
that
you're
creates
doing.
that creates a different dynamic to where I don't date any type of people specifically. I don't take my light skinned chick out because she light skinned and she a trophy to me. And I understand what he's saying, and I'm taking a long way to get there because literally I've had conversations where I've had homeboys and I've talked to people and I'd be like, she's just a trophy to you, bro. Yeah. Like, you don't have no real interest in her. You just take her around to show people like, this is the caliber of bitch I can get. Yep. Look at this bitch. Praise me.
Be hella mindful of that
like,
shit.
do you get what I'm saying?
I'm feeling it.
That I've never had because I didn't, unless you wanted to be pranced around and had that done, fuck it. All right, cool. If that's what you want, let's go do it. But I'm not the type of nigga that my preference doesn't create what we gonna do. What you look like don't create what we gonna do for me.
Right. But we know that of you. Like, we know you guys are not the men.
But what I'm saying is that's a lot of niggas, though. A lot of niggas just end up. So this is my whole thing. A lot of niggas is just niggas that just happy wife, happy life. But it's just so happy you find all your wives on Instagram.
Okay, what I'm saying, babe, is that I'm not talking about niggas that just happened upon. I'm talking about niggas who I've had conversation with. And this is the conversation, is that she was cool just to fuck. She was cool just for this. She was cool just for that. Nah, I thought she was going to be wifey. I did put her here. I did put her there. And when I look at the list, all of the ones that was just cool to fuck on look a certain way. And all of the ones that was wifeable look a certain way. And I'm only asking you because you the man, because you giving me this information. Do you think that that's odd?
I mean, obviously it's odd because you especially if everything fits a specific category, you're unconsciously looking for it. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like what my man said. It's just, you got certain dudes who just use bras as trophies, and you got certain girls who use niggas as trophies. Like, it is what it is. But if you just got that standard, whoever fits that standard, that mold, that's just who you're gonna rock with.
Okay, so this is I feel like you have to consider the source when you think of that.
Okay.
When you speak, and this is why we have had situations where we've had people tie identities to aesthetics.
Okay.
That becomes dangerous.
Yeah. The
idea that light-skinned girls are popping in a club girls and dark-skinned girls are girls that go to work, go to school,
Absolutely.
gonna be home. I think people tie that to an aesthetic sometimes,
Yeah.
and that becomes what you end up seeking out. It's like I can't remember. I was talking to somebody, and I was asking them, "Do you think because?" Oh, we was talking to Moni and them, and I was asking her like, because you've been taught a certain way, or you came a certain way into this. For most men, I'm gonna tell you the truth. For most men, we just bounce to the opposite side and date the opposite of completely what you are with our next woman. So if the first woman you date was a chick that was dark skinned and she was responsible and she didn't have enough time for you because she was going to work and going to school, more times than not, the next chick you gonna end up dating gonna be a light skinned chick who got all the time in the world. A lot of times it's just where a nigga start off at, and you just end up dating the complete opposite. And that's just really what it is. It's no real.
I think that's an immature way to go about it, though.
Not saying that it's not. Didn't say it wasn't. Not going that far.
only going.
I'm not giving. And again, when I give insight that I have, I'm not justifying it, saying it's okay. I'm not saying any of that. I'm giving it just as information from the sample sizes that I have in my life, as far as friends, men, women, whoever.
So do you think the whole colorism in dating is just something that's blown up then and not really a thing?
I think it's a factor. I think it exists. Do I think it's and again, I'm a man who dates and comes home to a black woman, will spend the rest of my life with a dark-skinned black woman. So I have no horse in this race to defend anybody dating a light anything. For me, I think it is a factor. I think it exists, and I think like Verge and TJ and Will and everybody can weigh in. I think it is a factor, and I think it does exist. Do I think it's something that is oftentimes abused and used as a deflection? Yeah. I think sometimes you can be a person who it's just like if you like a chick, right? You fucking with her, you vibing with her. And right when you think you in, she pop up on Instagram with some light-skinned nigga. All of a sudden, they the enemy now. Y'all bitches be loving them light-skinned niggas. All y'all want them Chris Brown dancing ass niggas. Run it, run. That's all y'all want. Like, that's just what niggas is all of a sudden. That's because that's where you heard at the moment. And sometimes people just end up carrying that. So sometimes it's a dude that you vibing with and you fucking with and you thought you was finna, and boop, pop up with a light-skinned chick. Mm-hmm. Niggas love these curly hair bitches, don't want to fuck with a real, but whatever it is, it's gonna sometimes be that. And so we have to consider the source and who we're listening to when we go colorism and this and that and y'all motherfucking bitches just like light-skinned niggas and dark-skinned niggas can't never, and it be the nigga that y'all always, that be right there and be want to take y'all out, that y'all just look over all the good niggas. You got to sometimes look at and consider the source of who the fuck is saying that.
What's your experience, Verge? You're a young stallion out here in these streets.
My experience for me,
Whippersnapper.
I'm vibing with any girl, it could be any color, because I date black, Filipino, white, Mexicans. I really don't care.
Verge always say he's about some money, fam.
Yeah, but lately, I ain't really been on the mic for like.
That was a thing. Verge fucked around, walked in and said he was in love.
No, I did not say that.
Verge.
Let's talk about it. What time is it? How much time we got left?
We got time.
We got 20 minutes.
Verge
It's
said,
dead.
Verge said
though,
she make him
I'm the
weak
type,
and knocks
if you
him
mess
off his
with me,
feet.
I'm messing with you. So that could be any color. Like, I don't really care.
But is that your experience amongst the men your age group? Do you feel like everybody is just out here?
Oh, no, because I got some homies that just like black girls. And I got some homies that tell me they would never date a black girl.
Terrible.
Are they black?
Yes, they're darker than me.
So,
but he
so let
won't
me say
date him
this.
because his mama crazy. So he don't want to date no black girl because his mama's like crazy.
Yeah.
See, and I'm like, well, that's stupid, but hey, that's you.
Yeah.
But
That's
that's also how we talked about with.
Yeah, I've heard that before, and I've heard. But here's where I don't care. I just want to say that, like, I don't care why you do or don't do. I'm only asking people to ask themselves why they do and don't do, and then ask yourself if that makes sense.
I mean, but at the end of the day,
Yeah,
that person is never going to admit the fact that they doing what they doing because of
Not
social
Not
Some
true.
people-
Some people have to be brought to the light. Like I think
Have
as a
to,
therapist,
have to,
or
you
not
know,
even have to. Sometimes
and-
once you see the light, you can identify like,
Like,
oh
oh,
shit.
shit.
Sometimes
like,
you
give
get
an
so
example of
disgusted
that.
by seeing
Yeah.
something from the outside in that
But like
you
he said,
identify
his
it.
homeboy is fully aware, and I have a family member and people that I've talked to that said the same shit. They're fully aware that the reason why they are pushing away from black women is because they feel like they don't necessarily respect the woman that their mother is.
Yeah.
And so they're associating all black women with their mom, and so I'm just staying away from that because I don't want to marry that.
Yeah.
Like that's what they're aware of it. It's not something they're doing unconsciously. Like they thinking about this. They've made a decision
Yeah.
that I don't do it. I'm just saying, like, to me that is still self-hate because you find something instead of you thinking my mother as a human being has issues, her individual has issues. You
assigned
said
it to.
all black women
Got you.
have
Yeah.
these issues.
And
Y'all all ain't shit and crazy.
But he thinks like this for the guy, because he even want he low key want to be white, but he just like saying nigga.
So yeah, he just
wanna
said
be-
disassociate.
It
Yeah.
just has,
Yeah,
he's
hurt.
got
Yeah.
some
He
self
just-
hate and
he
shit
just
going
hurt.
on, and I'm
Yeah.
just saying. I don't know how rare or not rare it is. I don't know if it's the minority of these instances or it's a lot of people. I just think it's there.
I kind of agree with E. Like, I think it definitely exists, but I think people lay on the negative. So, like, whenever somebody, like you said, people saying online or comments when something happens, those comments are blown up. So it's like way at the forefront. I don't think that it's not a thing because I refuse to believe it's not niggas like us in this room that just, I love the shit out of black women. Like, it is what it is. Like,
Yeah.
bad, good, and different.
Yeah.
Black is black, and black's what I'm going for. So, I don't know. I kind of agree with that. I think it is both. It just is like everything else. Bullshit is put to the highest order, so that's what you see all the time.
That's
And I just think it's like hurt people sometimes. Like once you get some type of hurt, you don't keep your hurt in a container of like, I only got hurt this way. Like hurt just spews. And so you can be hurt this way and then this triggers it. This small little hair off the situation. Like this is not even the whole body of the situation. Just a hair off of the body of the situation and it can trigger you. And in that trigger, you can just bleh. Like you just spit that shit out, bro. Like before you know it, like no, really, like before you know it, the shit you spit out some shit that you don't even really fucking believe in, but it's just hurt. Yeah, it's just hurt. The hurt just come out, and that's sometimes like an argument or some shit. Like you don't even really mean like to call.
yelling.
You know what I'm saying? You just yelling, and the hurt is just coming out, and that's what I feel like sometimes that happens. And on top of that, hurt and pride, the hurt of you blurt out some shit and the pride that you can't just fucking come back from it and be like, nah, my feelings was hurt. I was in my feelings, y'all. I'm sorry. I don't really feel like y'all only like light-skinned niggas. I was in my feelings about something. A lot of niggas can't come back from that. A lot of niggas will die on that hill that once you done type that shit on that infernet,
No, that shit right
you
there
you
has
gotta
to be
die
there.
on that hill, and a lot of niggas can't just come back. And a chick would be like, or somebody be like, nah, cause wasn't you here talking about like this and this about? You can't just be like, look, I was dating somebody and I was in my feelings, and they like hurt my feelings, so I was just like spewing some hateful shit.
No, like that. What you saying? Like that's something that people have to practice more. Like. You know, the whole accountability thing and being able to kind of process, like, okay,
walk it back.
Yeah, let's
walk
rewind
it
this
back.
shit and like really
I
do
shouldn't have said that. You're right. I fucked up. I fucked up. That's on me. I shouldn't have said it. And I think that go back to like we were saying with Whack earlier, like how people keep giving Whack a chance to walk shit back, and the nigga just keeps refusing. Like pride, that pride will have you sometimes in a spot where you know you done went into the gay orgy ass first. You done got fucked with whatever you said. You are fucked. Like, but. But nigga, you are.
Go fight it.
You will act like nope, I didn't say it. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
You just gotta,
he ain't a legend. I don't give a fuck. Light skinned bitches only fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Like, and before you know it, you just be out there in the wind. And you be having a whole bunch of shit that you don't really want to live with that you got to live with. Now you got the identity of a dumb nigga. And everybody think of you as the dumb nigga because you don't know how to just sometimes be like, I spoke out of term in the moment. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me take that back. I don't really mean that. Or sometimes I even say it. I just catch myself like, wait, I lied. Hold on. I don't believe that. Like, let me not let the world think that. You know, so I think sometimes if people would be better off doing that, you would not have to get boxed in and be stuck with certain identities of certain shit.
I think it's just crazy how colorism is because
I don't think it's just colorism. I think it's everything.
I mean,
you can't like a picture of a thick chick because you talk about fat girls all the time. You can't like a picture of a short nigga because you always talk about how you like tall niggas. Whatever the fuck it is.
There was a comment. There was a comment about that when you put the picture thing. Like, what's the difference between thick and fat?
Oh yeah, Keith talked about that.
Yeah.
Keith sent that in as a question.
There is a difference.
There's a big difference.
But like, I think that's subjective. I don't think it's
on who you ask.
yeah, it's subjective. So I don't think it can be. I know a nigga.
If you get
I know a nigga.
and all your booty go down, you were just fat.
Thank you, Verge.
And again, that's subjective to you.
Outstanding.
Sometimes that's subjective. That's subjective to you. Like,
just need
I got a homeboy that's Verge size. Only date big women.
That's
Like,
all you can get,
what he
though.
like.
No.
That's
That's
what bro like.
We all know this nigga.
That's
All
probably
three
what
of
he
them.
like.
Let me tell you, no, I'm
That's
gonna
his
tell you.
preference.
Probably what he like.
I'ma tell you right now, that's what that nigga like.
Yeah.
And he just will tell him like,
No, I'm cool.
he ain't
bro.
got enough for me, baby.
That's
Like
probably
he
what he
ain't-
like.
He like what he
Nah,
like.
this my nigga,
I'm
and that
telling you,
nigga,
serious.
I've
if it was a
seen
big
him.
chick- if she was a big chick in here right now, she would have took offense to that.
Yeah.
So you trying to say,
Like, oh, that's like big chicks. Like big chicks are just something to settle for. Like,
Yeah.
no.
Right.
And I've seen some big girls he came around with. Like, I was like, God damn. Like, she bad as a motherfucker. Like, she bad as a motherfucker. Like, shit. No, what I'm talking about, just even like just the whole. Like, you be like, nigga, where you? What they make? Like, I ain't
Shout out.
never
Hey,
seen.
look,
Like, and it just be
shout
like,
out to
yeah,
the
because
Polio
you just
pimp.
so you see things like, and it's just
He like him big. He like him big.
and it's just
You do.
that's his preference. And I swear I've been out with the nigga and I've seen real women like badass little nice figure. How you can he be like, oh no, you pretty and all that. Shorty be like, let me introduce you to JT. Let me introduce you to this nigga.
He go right for the.
And he be like, yeah, like he ain't gonna disrespect you. He don't shit on you or nothing. He just slides you to the
That's just not
side.
him.
He just curve you like, hey, boo, swoop.
Ain't him.
Swoop, dude. Like, I see you, boo. You look good, look nice and all that. But what about your homegirl right there that's breathing heavy,
Yeah.
though?
And fat
Like-
girls are a lot of niggas'
how
preference.
big-
This idea
how
that niggas don't
big-
like
And that's
fat
what I'm
girls
saying.
is a
Even in
lie.
that,
It's
like,
a lie.
that's a lie. And that's what I'm
How big
saying.
we talking?
So that's what I'm saying. I done seen, bro. Bro,
But
Sway
that-
might
that-
get
that's
Sway
a
might
boil-
get
Not to even
300.
just boil it down to like
Sway might
pervy
get three.
shit, but it's a whole porn fucking category dedicated.
Thank
to
you.
this. Multiple porn
Yeah.
The
categories
nigga dra-
dedicated.
I
to
like
it.
my girls
People will say,
BBW
like,
type
that's
eat
a
you up and then
fetish.
make some.
That's a
Yeah.
fetish. No,
No, them
niggas
niggas like
That's a
that.
preference.
Like, I like
They-
you.
I like
I like
that
you
size
and I
and
want
up.
you.
Mhm.
Even for the longest
That's
time, she
for
would always
real.
say that about me. Like, you
Yeah.
like thick, light skinned women. And it's just like, they nice. I'm not going to say that they not. Like, it's just, that shit is nice.
That was just to aggravate him because I was mad about other things.
But see, that's what I'm saying. And that go back to not be like, you know what I'm saying?
But
Like,
that's not something that I would tell other people about you. Like, I'm not going around to tell strangers like my exes. Like, I wouldn't do that. It was just an internal banter.
DJ only fuck with Tamala man.
Right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Like, I wasn't posting that on
A
social
bunch of
media.
Tamala
and
mans.
I wasn't under pictures like niggas only like no. I
What the
wouldn't do
fuck?
that.
Like, get the fuck out of here.
I was in his iMessage though.
Yeah, some weird shit.
Oh,
that and I'm like, yo, she's like not even what?
You might
Okay.
be right because Markel like tall girls.
Yeah.
Everybody like what they like.
Some
Yeah,
people
he's
like
like-
tall
he
girls,
like
some people
mine.
like small.
They like.
Some people like But you gotta once it get beyond what you like, then it go left. Like me, I have a thing with like asses. I just like fat booties, right? Butt cheeks, right? Butt cheeks. But then what you were saying earlier, when it starts to seep over into other categories, are you really
a white woman with it?
I don't fuck with white women. I've never had sex with white women a day in my life. Keith calls me racist. Like I don't. Wow. But the thing is like in grad school, I came across the thickest white women I've ever came across in my life. Thickest, and you get blind to this shit. But after a minute, once I seen her fucking put the cigarette to her mouth, then it's like, okay, you white. Never mind. But it comes to.
But that goes back. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
We have this thing that we talk about where we talk about our rules versus our code. So your rule might be like, I like this, but your code might be like this. Let me give
you a perfect example of that. Perfect example of that. Rules. I'm like all black everything. My whole like life has been black, everything. Code. My girlfriend. She's black. Her pops is typical black, dark ass. Black is this motherfucking thing right here. Mm-hmm. Jamaican, right? Mom, Asian, raised born in like France or some other shit. Asian and Vietnamese, but she does not look black. She got all of her mom genetics, right? So she looks like her mother. Mm-hmm. So you get to a place of, for me specifically, when it comes to starting that relationship, rules versus standard. The rule is like you have to look the part. So to me, even though she genetically, technically black, she didn't look the part. So for me, it's like, you ain't really black enough. Standard wise, she fit every single category. Mm-hmm. So it goes back into, okay, which rule are you going to toss in order to really stand on your feet? Mm-hmm. You know, because I've came across one homeboy who flat out who asked me a question like, am I afraid to bring my girlfriend out because she doesn't look the part? Right? Because everything I do is black, but because she doesn't look black, am I afraid of that? Mm-hmm. On one end, it's like, no, fuck that. I'm not out there with my girl. But on the other end, you get to a place of, are you dating for yourself or are you dating for the culture? Does that make sense?
That's a valid question. That's a question that's been brought up before, right? Can you be pro-black and have a spouse that's not black? You can. A lot of people feel like you can't be out here talking about black women and black love and black this and black that, and you married a white woman. What's his name? Jesse Williams, right? Mm-hmm. That was his whole thing. Everybody was pro Jesse when he had his black woman, and they divorced, and he showed up with this white chick with red hair, and suddenly the black power speech hit different. It wasn't the same no more.
Well, he didn't really say that we needed reparations or nothing, because I would love an escalator.
Them tweets about black women didn't hit right no more because he showed up, and I just feel like,
shut up, nigga, you got a white bitch. Like, he became one of them.
Yep. I don't feel that way personally. I feel like you can be pro-black and have fallen in love with a person that's not black. I don't think that that's a problem, but I know a lot of people don't agree with that.
Like Queen and Slim hit different. TJ just said that Queen and Slim hit different because she got a
But
white
you love who you love, though. Like I said, you're not here for everybody. You're just here for like.
But I just think again, it go back to, I want certain people to present certain shit. We talked about this when we talked about British actors playing American roles. I want somebody who has certain things. I want life to be imitating art. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes I want art to be imitating life. Excuse me. I want this art to be somebody who knows what this connection is in real life, because it needs to be conveyed with a certain strength that you cannot emulate. Yes. That is what, and I don't care what you say. I've been in love with. I've never been in love with nobody who wasn't black. I've been in love with people that were mixed or whatever, and I've been in love with people that like didn't have to split their identity with like their cultural identity, that didn't have to stand on a fence. And there is a different dynamic there. There's a different dynamic that exists. So yeah, like Queen and Slim, and you dating that is something that's kind of like, oh shit.
I try to hold people to like
put a little water on that, didn't you?
I try to hold people to the standard I would hold myself to. Mm-hmm. Like I know my like going out, my baseline is like black women, but I try to give enough space to like, if you fall in love, nigga, like you fell in love. So
and then a lot of times we gotta understand that black is like a wide range. Like I said, my girl is black. She makes some bomb ass oxtails, get in there, really cook you a good old soul food, but she looks fucking Asian. Yeah. right?
But I think
she's
that
black.
with that identity, there's
But
certain
I
things
think-
that you don't have to face with your woman because people
exactly.
don't present exact. So that's what I'm saying.
100%
There's a
true.
credibility that you get with your Asian appealing girlfriend,
No, that's 100%.
and that is something that I think certain people, as a black man, you don't understand, and it's hard to be a champion for what black men have to go through if you don't have all of the characteristics of everything that my daily life includes.
Yeah.
So you can talk about, that's like how we talk about rich black men, and we be like, but nigga, you rich. Black men that don't have to deal with the this of the this of the this, or when she might be out somewhere and somebody feels she's getting an attitude, or she just is a black woman and somebody's like, oh, she's getting aggressive, sir. You wanna? And I have to, no, motherfucker, she not being aggressive. You need to listen to what she's saying. Having a stand on that sometimes. Like there's certain things that you do have to, that come with it. That come with that package that people who don't date black women don't understand or just don't have to deal with.
That's the truth.
And it's no fault to it. It's no fault to you at all.
But you, to the point you're making with your girlfriend, that makes me want to ask another question, because there's this thing where people are like, why do black people try to force biracial people to be black? Like, why do we slap that on them when, why can't they be
them
biracial? Because that's a thing, because some biracial people do not look majority black,
they don't
like
look
your
the part.
girlfriend.
So like for me exactly it was more so like, for me, am I dating for the black race or for the black culture, or am I more so dating for myself? And I had to figure out, for me, that was an eternal battle on my end, because I was fucked up, and I would tell her like, you don't really look the part. And you don't really look the part, and because you don't look the part, that's fucked up at the end of the day, right? Just because you don't look a certain way. But however, for me, it was just, okay, I had to realize, like, I'm trying to date this girl strictly because of the standards, like you were saying, the standards, the type of woman that she is, right? Because she doesn't look the part, and we don't want to force her, because she doesn't like being forced to be put in the black card or be put in the Asian card. Because like you said,
most people
automatically,
that I meet don't.
Automatically, because she looks Asian, people are automatically going to assume that she's Asian until she pulls out her father and black is everybody in here. Then people are like, oh shit, because there's certain things that she just does not have to go through. We get pulled over, she ain't got to deal with the police like I have to deal with the police, because they just gonna make that assumption. But at the end of the day, it's just about what are you dating for and what the case is.
I get the dating perspective. I'm just curious about the fact that, like, babe, what do you think? Like, people defining biracial people as black for them, right? Because we do that for them. Most of them say like, no, I'm both, or I don't like being one or the other, and I want to be considered biracial. So I always feel like, I think as I've gotten older, I used to just be like, oh, you got a black parent, you black. Now that I'm older, I literally go by what you want to be. If you tell me that because you present black, you prefer to just be black and that's it, cool. If you say you want to be biracial but you look black to me, I still let you biracial, whatever.
For me, I mean, I've dated a lot of biracial women. To me, it was more about which side presented more of what they wanted to relate to. And it came down more to that. Like, I've dated women that were black and Armenian, black and Mexican, black and whatever the fuck else you could think of. A lot of it came down to this side, or I identify as biracial because both sides presented qualities that I feel like I can exude for the rest of my life. I've met people that are like, I only identify my black side because my other side don't like black people. They don't do this, and that's not something that that's not a characteristic I want to identify with for the rest of my life. So I don't know. To learn a part of my culture, I have to learn that part of it. So I have to leave that alone until I can learn it from a place that I could really learn it from. So they always just identified as black because they had no like tangible source of their identity as far as their other cultures.
But how did you identify them?
I identified them the same way you said. However they identify, because a lot of biracial people I found, for me, that I found myself attracted to, they looked at their situation like that. So they had a firm basis to be able to stand on. For me, when I asked them, what did you want to be? If you were just somebody, I would just be like, you biracial then. If you didn't have no reason why you didn't fuck with one or the other, then you just biracial. Like, that's just
because I feel like black people get deeply offended by mixed people wanting to identify as black. Like, that'd be a whole thing, and I don't get that.
But at the same time, because I don't think some people understand that some black people just not inclusive, and that's the reason why some people have to watch their white or Mexican mama or white or Mexican daddy or whatever your other parent was come to pick you up from your black grandmama house and be like, don't let that white motherfucker, don't let that whatever motherfucker in my house. Like, and that's the thing, like, that's a fucking, like, a real thing. So I can't be mad at those people because I understood I understood that.
This is certain
Even
shit
when
that they
that's my
don't
kind
want
of
to deal
situation,
with.
like when they feel like my black grandma is great and my Korean grandma is great and my
Yeah.
life is good, and I'm not gonna say I'm black because you want me to be saying I'm black.
I feel like
People
if you're,
get all up in arms about it.
Yeah, I
Like,
feel
Well,
like
because
if
I
you're
think people take that
biracial-
as like a priority. Like you
Yeah.
need to
Yeah.
prioritize black over everything. though.
Right.
that's what
And
no,
that's what
that's
people-
what I think it is.
People
I
won't
think
accept
black
that. People don't want to
for-
prioritize black over everything. And I think that comes with the like a lesser, because anytime we look at things that people have to put on the same spectrum as black people, somehow they always find blue lives matter. All lives matter. It's always some caveat of like, and black people don't ever get to stand as like the lone top when in comparison to other people. So I think we take that with biracial people, and we understand how big black culture is to biracial people, and they don't just want to be put over here in this box of white, and we make them choose. Like, now you got to pick, nigga. Like, you need to say that you black over this because black needs to stand. Like, we just need some type of superiority in something, and I think we do that with almost a self-hate and pin our own people into a corner just to be able to get that power.
I think that's probably the same thing, because that's what I was like thinking. Like, I think it's not to justify, but I do think black people do it because we're like slighted everywhere else. So it's like you black, but you're going out of. They think we take it like you're going out of your way to not acknowledge our part. So it's like fuck.
And sometimes some people just be wanting to take away the right to choose for another nigga. Like if you got a biracial cousin or something, and his daddy white, or everybody got that one cousin or one auntie that got a Mexican baby daddy or something like that. You don't want him to be able to have that card over you that he's the Mexican, and because some people in urban communities and black communities treasure that over black. So you want that? Nah, he black. His daddy black. He black. He this. You take that away from them. You can't have that because that'll give you something over me. So you can't have it. You got to be black.
but
Sometimes that's just it.
and that's why I acknowledge that. Like, I would never be able to have. Obviously, I would never be able to have biracial kids because my husband is gonna be black. But before, when I wouldn't be a woman that could ever date interracially for that fact, because I don't believe that I would. I just feel like if I had a baby, ain't no way that it ain't gonna look
Yeah,
black.
you don't want
It's
your white
gonna
Jamal.
look black.
You don't want white
And
Jamal.
I'm not raising my light-skinned kid to believe that they're not black. I have to prepare you for the world. The world is gonna see you as a little black motherfucker, so that's the way I gotta raise you. I'm not, and that would be unfair to their other side of the family. So I wouldn't want to do that.
Tiff and her Aryan Darrell.
I wouldn't be feeling it. Like my white husband would have to go sit on it because it wouldn't be happening.
All right, motherfuckers.
Ain't no white.
What time is it? Oh shit, it's
Ain't no
5:02.
Korean, ain't no Indian. We're not doing that. Whatever it is, you can learn how to cook.
All right.
Flowers is these?
I don't know who flowers these is.
Everybody's into the
Right.
flowers. Ambiance.
All right, y'all. We out of this motherfucker. I'm having a very Masego day, and everybody can catch this wave. Man.
You can see the way that I have changed when I embrace you. The feelings give